This is Season 3 of The Score, the Team Roping Journal's regular podcast, where the team roping world talks. We've told the stories of some of the greatest cowboys, horses, and moments in the sport, and we're so far from done. In 2020, we'll bring you more of what you've come to expect, like interviews with the best cowboys and cowgirls we know, and we'll dive even deeper into subjects you care about. Look for more audio editions of the Team Roping Journal stories you might have missed in print, and learn about the great horses shaping the sport and great challenges facing our industry. All this and more in 2020. I'm Chelsea Shaffer. Brock Hanson is a National Finals Rodeo header who swapped to the hillside to rope with Colorado's J.B. James. With almost $500,000 in ProRodeo earnings and 2 NFR go-round wins to his name, Hanson is a deadly switch ender who knows good horses too. This time around, I talked to Brock about making young horses, something a lot of ProRodeo cowboys find themselves doing more and more of thanks to the COVID-19 crisis. But Brock's always been skilled with a horse as much as he has been with the rope, and he talks about a variety of ways he brings young horses along and techniques he uses to make a good one. There's also some good bit talk too, so for all you bit junkies, we cover that as well. Thanks, Brock, and enjoy this conversation. Today's episode is going to be brought to you by Fastback Ropes. So enjoy the episode, and I will talk to you more at the commercial break in the middle of the show. How are you, Brock?
I'm good.
What have you been up to in your downtime?
And couple schools, and luckily the jackpots have been pretty busy. So last couple weeks, kind of up in Colorado and Wyoming, and went to Belle Fourche to the jackpot. So we've been getting to rope quite a bit.
Yeah, you have been. And have the jackpots been decent for you?
Yeah, they've been good. Good.
The
turnouts have been amazing.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like that open that we went to in Gill was crazy. I couldn't, like 115 teams in an open in the middle of Colorado. That's unheard of.
Yeah, and then have a handicap, a 12 slide or whatever. They had 400 and some teams. I mean, that's an awesome turnout.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been good. I keep saying it's the year of the jackpot, and it sure. I mean, I hate that for the rodeo guys that you guys aren't getting to rodeo, but are you going to go to Texas and do like all the Texas rodeos that are still happening?
I am not 100%. I'm actually headed back from Nevada right now. I mean, yeah, I think we're going to have to do something. I'm curious, and it's, I mean, nobody's in a very good position to give any answers, but It would be nice if we could get some sort of an idea. And then I don't know that anybody actually has an idea. Like, what are we going to do for circuit rodeos and circuit finals? And I mean, there's obviously the undecided rumor is, are they even going to have an NFR? You know, I mean, like, nobody really knows anything. So it would be nice if we kind of had the big picture or just an idea of, hey, here's the direction we would like to go in, or this is kind of the plan. But right now it seems like nobody's really very certain of anything.
Yeah, I had said just in like conversations earlier month, like if Cheyenne, like Cheyenne's going to be the litmus test. Like if Cheyenne can happen, then I have faith in the season. There's going to be an NFR, all that stuff. Now it's like, man, that sucks.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say.
I'm out of the circle. I mean, I think majority of my information comes from rumors and Facebook, which I don't know that either one's very reliable. But at one point it was like Cheyenne said, I mean, we're going to have it regardless of what everybody's doing or thinks. And then it goes from that to canceling Cheyenne to shortly followed by canceling every rodeo in the state of Wyoming.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, all the spring rodeos that kind of got postponed to the fall. I mean, are we going to have them or are we not having them? what's
Are they
the
going to
plan,
count? Like, yeah, are we going to have them? Are they, if they are having them, are they going to count? It's such a, and you guys are so good. Like that spring rodeo setup is so good for you and JB. I would hope for your sake that they have some of them, but man, it's just such a bummer. What circuit did you guys declare this year?
The Mountain State Circuit,
Oh,
which is
okay. So
Colorado and Wyoming. So as of right now,
yeah.
they talk like Grover is still a go.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I know like books are open on Prescott right now, and I mean, not that it's a rodeo. You got to go to it, but you want to drive, 14 hours for kind of one rodeo if there's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just hard to decide what to do.
I know. I haven't checked on the PRCA's website lately or anybody's websites lately, but the last time I checked on the WPRA's website, it was like Westcliff was one, and then one rodeo in South Dakota, and those were the only ones that were full on approved and happening. Like, it's just a crazy times, and I feel so badly for all you guys. I would talk to Caesar this morning, and he joked that like everybody's either riding outside horses or teaching a school. Like if you talk to a pro right now, you guys usually have time to talk unless you're teaching a school. Like I've never had this happen before where everybody's just loping colts or sitting on a horse in a box scoring all day. Have you haven't had to take in any outside horses at this point, or have you?
I have not. I've got a couple green ones of my own I've been riding. I have not taken any outside horses from the kind of general public.
Yeah, gotcha. Are you riding green heel horses, or are you riding green head horses too?
No, a couple green heel horses.
Gotcha. Have you been riding many head horses or just heel horses?
I have not. I rode. A month ago I rode. Just a couple of the ones with JB. He had a couple green ones I've messed around with a little bit, and that's kind of about it.
Gotcha. So, do you enjoy riding young heel horses better than young head horses at this point?
I don't know that I like one more than the other. I mean, I enjoy riding good young horses, something that, you teach them something and you go over it for a couple of days and then you get to go on to the next step and the next step. And I really enjoy ones that, that want to learn and you get signs of progress. I hate going over the same thing every day, and not feeling like you're gaining any ground. I don't mind ones that, learn slow as long as they're learning. I think a good horse is a good horse. Green is not necessarily bad if they don't know, as long as they're willing and you can kind of advance them. I enjoy that.
Are the green ones that you're riding right now, are they out of any specific bloodlines? Tell me about them.
They're just horses. I'm not big on super young horses like 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds. I don't have a ton of experience with them, but I'm not very good at that kind of stuff. Like I don't like breaking horses. I would prefer to have them, where they're sure enough already broke, one-handed. You can get on and kind of mess with them for a little bit, and you got a pretty good idea of, are they willing, what kind of attitude they have, what are their, if they're athletic, just kind of the whole deal versus buy one strictly on bloodlines. I mean, I've rode several brothers and half brothers to horses that were phenomenal, and they were, I guess you just call them pretty common at best, which I would just as soon be able to get on them and tell if I like them for what the horse is and what they're capable of versus what the papers say. I've never been real big on papers or bloodlines. I mean, I've had a couple of the bloodlines that I don't really enjoy very much, and obviously each one kind of has a reputation that follows it, but I would just as soon kind of get on them and see what they are when they're underneath you.
Sure. It's funny that you say that because like you hung out at Motz's for so long and you lived there, stayed there for so long. And he's such a bloodline man. And JB's barn is full of, his family raises some amazing running bred horses. But your background is just a little bit different in horses, I guess.
Yeah, and like I said, I would just soon. I mean, I get it, and like you say, Ryan and JB, all of them, they've done great, and had some that didn't work out, or some better than others, or whatever. And I guess if you're, I don't know. I guess I just never really got that into it. I mean, I've had some phenomenal horses, no clue what their bloodlines were. They didn't even have papers. They didn't come with them. So obviously they were quality horses, and they probably had papers that. I've heard every excuse from a fire to a divorce to broke in my truck and everything else. I mean, there's always the excuses why they don't have papers. But, yeah, I'm just not – if they're unregistered or don't come with papers, it doesn't necessarily concern me. I would prefer it because if you're going to – for resale value in the general public, everyone would like to have papers on them. But if you know the age of them, yeah, papers haven't ever. They've never really done me any good. Like I said, I understand it, but it doesn't make or break a decision when I'm picking out a horse, especially something that I'm going to use. I'm not overly concerned about it on a gelding for sure.
Now, what is your horse game plan for the year? Like, if things start to fall apart even further as far as the rodeo season, are you going to have some good ones for sale, or are you going to keep them and keep your arsenal built up?
I'm pretty bad to sell stuff. I got one really good horse right now that I got from Wesley Thorpe that I really, really like. And other than that, the other ones are just, green horses, which, like I said, a good horse is a good horse just because they're green. That doesn't really bother me very much. I don't mind a green one that's willing to learn. Heel horses, you can start with a pretty green heel horse, and especially where you're home getting a rope so much right now, you can advance a heel horse enough to start taking them to a roping pretty fast. A head horse, sure enough, takes time, especially at an open level because of the scoring, and you go through the sweats in the box and everything else. A head horse takes a really long time, it seems like, where a heel horse with the right mind, you can bring them along pretty fast to where you can start going to, especially like Colorado, where they have the 12 slide where you get to go and you get to rope, pick one, draw one, go 3 times, and you're going to have 6 partners in the same roping. That's the best way to season one. Because of the open roping, down at Stephenville, they have the open ropings and stuff. Man, you better be on something pretty good because, I mean, you need all the help you can get with Driggers and Jade and Junior and everybody there. And most of them, they're not riding colts. So you've got to be on something pretty good. But if a guy can go to some of the handicap ropings and some of the stuff where you get to enter more than 1 or 2 times, it's not going to break you, I do. I like taking the green horses, and they make mistakes. That's part of it. But you can mess with the horse for 2 months at the house and think you're doing good, and you go to one roping, and by the time the first round's over, you know exactly what you need to work on when you get home. It's like, okay, here's the problem, and you get to address it when you're home, just kind of going through the motions. You can think you're doing pretty good or think you're not doing very good, but like I said, you take them into any kind of competition, you figure out real fast what you got.
Hey everybody, it's Chelsea, and I want to talk to you a little bit about Fastback Ropes, who are sponsoring our episode today. Their 2 best sellers are the Cobalt and the Excalibur. They're poly blend core ropes. The Cobalt is a perfect combination of poly and dyed nylon, resulting in a highly durable rope. It's medium in diameter and weight and will likely appeal to ropers who prefer more tip weight and less body or bounce. Fastback's Excalibur is a nylon poly blend with core construction. It's a bestseller, and it's another medium in diameter rope and weight with core construction. It's durable, it's got reduced body and no bounce, and swings consistent in all weather. Today's tip is about breaking in ropes. Surprisingly, a lot of people don't understand or know the importance of it. To break in your new ropes and help them last longer, rope 5 to 10 and then loosely coil back up and let it rest for a day or so. This will give the rope time to recover and draw back up. It helps extend the life of your rope. The rope makers at Fastback Ropes recommend that strategy, so I guess you probably all better stick to it. Again, thank you to Fastback for bringing us this episode, and thank you for the Fastback tip of the day. Where is the line for you when you take a green horse to the jackpot? Where can you describe the line between, okay, I better get off this sucker and we better go back to the practice pen, or maybe if I ride him through a couple more runs, like just kind of hammer it into him? Can you describe that line?
Yeah, I think it's different for each horse. I won't get off of them because they make mistakes. If I feel like they're falling apart, and if like sometimes they get real nervous and then they're not working, I might run 2 or 3 of them. Especially like I said, you get to go to the ropens where you get several runs. I might run 2 or 3, and if they're just kind of worked up because of stuff going on around the roping, or it's the first time and all the people in the chutes and the speakers and everything else, I might run 2 or 3 on them, time to the fence, and kind of let them just get used to it and see it and chill out for 15, 20 minutes, and ride another horse for a couple steers and get back on them. I've had pretty good luck doing that, kind of rotating off and on them throughout the day. Like I said, the rope when we went to, they had 400 teams. That was awesome for a horse, because at an open roping, I mean, you're there for an hour and a half maybe. And even if you catch all of them, go twice at a 5-header, most steers you're going to run is 10, where that deal had 400 teams. I think you got 8 runs or something like that. I mean, you're going to be there all day. And you, as an open guy, you don't get to season horses like that anymore. I mean, the only ropers that last all day is the BFI and maybe the Capitalist and the Lone Star, which at those ropings, you're not going to take a colt. So I thought that was a great place, and like I said, it was good for those horses to be there all day and kind of let them get over whatever's bothering them, and then get on them and put some more runs. I try to be pretty careful with them in the box. If you feel like you're losing them in the box and they're starting to glaze over, I don't want to create a problem, but I won't get off of them because they make a mistake, because they're not going to get any better tied to the fence.
Yeah, I guess when they do start to get nervous in the box, like, and you're in the middle of the jackpot, you go ahead and get off of them. And then what do you do at home if that happens? Like, if say one starts to fall apart in the box at a jackpot, what's your Monday morning game plan?
I'll go right to it. Wherever, if I had to get off of one because of an issue, first thing when I get home or first time I ride them, I go right to the problem. I don't try to avoid it or think it's going to go away. I'll go, if it's in the box, as soon as I get on the horse, warm him up, straight to the box, move him around, score him, just kind of whatever the issue was, I try to recreate it, because you don't want to, obviously you got a time. It's not like you can tell your partner, wait up, I need 3 minutes over here to move my horse around and kind of get some confidence back in him or whatever. So I'll get off of him and just spend the time on him, and whatever the problem was, I'll address it accordingly, and whether it's to score a bunch or walk them in and out, score them, whatever, it depends, whatever it was. But yeah, I'll go right to the problem first thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did a thing with Trevor a while ago on bits in the box and getting a horse comfortable. He focuses so much on what bit he's going to ride one in the corner, because that makes such a difference for him. Do you have I'm sure it's different for every horse, but do you have a set of bits that you run into with that problem, or are you not as much of a bit person?
Yeah, I do. I have a handful of bits. I think a lot of it is what kind of style. Like, I heard a horse one time and Trevor let me on his, and we were up the reps, and he said, man, you can run, if you want to run 2 or 3 on him. I was going to take him to the rodeo the next morning. And my horse must have just had a sting or something. I ended up not taking him, but I run, I think, 3 steers on him that night. And it's the only thing I've ever really rode behind Trevor. And he was real big on, when I rode him, he said, hey, I want him, off the bridle or behind the bridle. Don't let him pull on you. If he does, you get him off the bridle. And I would, of course, do it. I go home and play with that idea on a bunch of mine.
Mhm.
I was not heeling. Man, you can get by with one that's just pretty good in there. Like, they got to be able to leave when you want, even with the heel barriers. You can kind of ballpark the start. It's not as crucial most of the time. As
Mhm.
long as they leave off your hand and you can get a start, they don't have to just, kind of stare down the barrel of it and be that sharp. Heeling, you can, for lack of a better way, you can kind of half-ass it and get away with it.
Mhm.
Where, like, heading,
Mhm.
man, if you fudge the start heading, you're probably out of the roping, especially in the
Mhm.
open ropings and the better ropings. Because you miss the start, then that just creates more problems out in the arena. So I
Mhm.
had a lot of luck because I was not very good in the box. In my heading career, in the box and scoring was the weakest part of me. So I spent way more time than what actually showed in the box and trying to learn. And, I rode and got different ideas from a ton of guys. I go down to Ray Siggins and he would give me ideas and work with me. And we just do just a ton of different ideas. And it took me a long time I had my good horse Stripper. He scored amazing. I mean, I had a couple horses that I was fortunate enough because when I bought a horse, I would want him to be phenomenal in the box, and because that
Mhm.
was my weakest point. So I would do different things, and
Mhm.
I got along really good with, kind of some gag type bits or something where if I was maybe a little
Mhm.
clutchy or pulled on them a little bit, I didn't lift them off. Like if you got a solid bridled,
Mhm.
or I didn't dislike riding hackamores, but you'll pick them up in the front end if you kind of do something they hit. If their front feet come
Mhm.
off the ground, you cannot go forward. Like you cannot leave. If you nod and you flinch and you lift them off the front, you cannot leave. And again, when you're smoked, you're
Mhm.
done. So I would ride
Mhm.
a lot of gag bits or maybe something with a little taller purchase. I still really like to ride bits with a little extra purchase, and I've had good luck with those, but it was just because it almost delayed the actual bite of the bit or the chin strap and give me just a little more time. That was the way I looked at it, was for kind of pilot error. So if
Mhm.
I was a little clutchy or a little tight, it didn't mess my horses up because, like I said, when I picked out a head horse, the box was a strong suit for him. So I
Mhm.
tried to find out a way that would cut me some slack. But I had good luck with kind of some gag bits or something, a little bit of a draw to it. So,
Sure.
like I said, just give me a little bit of room to make mistakes.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that because I know just recently have I heard headers start talking about gag bits more. Like T Wade was telling me that that horse he rode at the NFR this year, he had to ride him in a gag for a while. Or excuse me, it was the horse he rode at the beginning of the year. He was riding in a gag to get him where he wanted him. Trevor talked about in a story we did about gag bits and how sometimes that is just ends up what suits his horses and his hands. And I just think I've just been writing about it for 10 years, but I haven't heard a lot of people talk about them often. But I think Bird rode Dolly in a gag bit, didn't he? I think so.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's just interesting. And I don't see a lot of guys at a 12 slide riding their horses in a gag bit. It's like a Pesca or, a chain bit.
Well,
So,
and two, you look at the way. I mean, if you sit and watch the open roping or a rodeo, you never see a header, or hardly ever see a header have to use the bridle to rate his horse off or to slow him down in the turn. Those horses are
mhm,
all not droppy, but they're real ratey, and they're looking for the throw. So they have
sure.
to score, and the headers drive and ride all the way through their throw. And after the throw, those horses are sharp. Like they don't need the
Mhm,
bridle to make
mhm.
them turn off. So you can get away
Yeah.
with less bridle in the open style of roping, and in the more aggressive guys.
Mhm,
There's so much body language, and they see the shot because a lot of them now. I mean, shoot, an average run is still a coil back. So everything's
mhm,
so far out in front of them where in the 10 or the 9 or something, those guys go up there and they gain faster. The steers might be a little bit slower. So they go up there and they got to use the bridle to take control of their horse and slow them down to rate off or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So a gag bit usually doesn't have a lot of stop to it. You know, I mean, it's more for,
Yep.
like I said, it's delayed in the bite. So you don't see
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that for a heel horse or a calf horse that needs a lot of stop or something you have to pull on. It's not a stopping type bridle. So that's why I think the open or rodeo type guys can get away with a gag, is because they don't need it out in the arena.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a whole lot of sense, Brock. One of the things that has been really popular lately with our audience and with people on the score is listening to like roping lessons from you guys. We've been doing like short little 5-minute roping lessons. Is there anything that at your school you were really working on with people in Nevada that you could explain, or one specific item? And I'm putting you on the spot.
You know, yeah, kind of, but it's not really a secret, is position. I mean, position. I all the time, and not just this last deal, just as I think this goes for everybody, is you get to where you spend a lot of time on the ground and everything, and you get to where you catch the dummy consistently. And if you would, whatever spot you rope the dummy, say you're in the arena and you just work the arena and you set your dummy up out in the arena, and it doesn't matter if you're heading or heeling, either one. So you got a fresh set of tracks. If you rope the dummy 20 times, probably 18 of 20 are going to be in the exact same tracks that you throw in the last, every loop in the exact same tracks. Well, that's your position. So then you get on a horse and you throw 10 loops and you throw from 10 different spots. It's like, well, for one, there's the first hang up to why you're probably not as consistent as you are on the ground, is because you're not throwing from a consistent spot, you know. But I think that's just, I mean, everybody knows it, and everybody understands that position is huge, but it's still, I don't think that I don't know, you just see it. You sit there and watch the 10 roping, and they throw out of position all the time and miss, and it's like, oh man, my rope, I got to practice, or I got to change this with my roping and stuff. And it's like, well, man, you got to get to the same spot every time first. You know, it's hard to tell if it was your rope or your roping or your horse did this or did that when you're not in position.
Gotcha. That's an awesome tip. Thank you, Brock. All right, before we go, you got to tell me, you are jumping between climates like crazy now. I'm sure it's way different in Arizona than it is in Colorado, than it is in Texas. What ropes are you going between right now? What are your rope choices?
You know, the last probably month, I've been using the Cobra, the black rope that Fastback makes. I'm curious because I've just now been getting where it's kind of outdoors and sure enough getting hot. And so far I've been really happy with it. I really like the reaction of it I've been heeling full time. So when that rope gets on the ground, it stays. I really like several things about it. So I'm curious to see, as the temperatures get hotter, that rope so far has held up great. And I've been, like I said, real happy with it, but that's what I've been using.
Very good. Very good. I was at JB's barn the other day and saw a couple ropes sitting in the corner, and they were Cobras. So I figured that was the answer. I figured they were yours.
Yeah, no, that's
good.
what I've been using.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Brock. I appreciate it.
You bet.
All right. Hope it killed some of your drive time.
Yeah. Be careful. We'll see you at the next jackpot, I guess.
I guess so. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you, Fastback Ropes, for bringing us this episode. Remember, fastbackropes.com. Make sure you're ordering your Excalibur and your Cobalt. Those are the best-selling ropes for a reason. You can't beat them. Thanks.